All right. Good evening, everyone. Thank you all for coming. My name is Todd Brous. I'm your host for the evening, and I'm here with Susan Schultz and Ashley Wilson, and we would like to welcome everyone to HBAP Startups. So let's get started. For those of you who are new to the Startups group, we have a few announcements at the beginning of each meeting. We'll go do some short networking breakout rooms, and then we'll all come back together for our main event. And first off is our mission. We're here to help foster and fortify an innovation and entrepreneur community coming out of the Harvard Business Analytics program. And our goal is to provide our members with the tools, knowledge, leadership, and confidence necessary to create and grow their businesses from the ground up. Susan.
And there are so many ways that you can get and stay in touch with us, right? There's our website, there's the HBAP website, there's our YouTube channel where everything is posted as long as the presenter says it's okay. There's the newsletter where you will get heads up on cool stuff that's happening. There's the Slack channel if you are in or have been in HBAP. And then as always, just bring a guest. If you think there's somebody out there that you know, or like in Don's case that you knew a while ago that you think might be a great speaker or just want to be part of our community, bring them. We welcome everybody. And then just a reminder that unless the presenter says otherwise, we post all of our recordings publicly on YouTube. And we have some really cool speakers coming up to continue all of the cool speakers that we've been having all year. So today is our own Shri, who's going to talk to us about Gen AI and AI and project management. Don't forget to do the Menti survey that's in the chat. And then next week we have Jorg Yinat, who has written a book called Let's Get Digital, a Transformation Guide. And what's cool about what he's going to talk about is, first of all, he's got a second edition coming. And then he's also going to talk a little bit about how do you actually get a book published these days. So it's going to be a really, really cool conversation between Todd and Jorg next week. And then the week after, we have Andrea. And is Andrea here with us tonight? She was here last week.
Yeah, she's here.
Okay. Hey, Andrea. So she's the founder of Hortitech and graduated from Cal Lutheran. So she's one of Kelly's students. And what her company does is it uses NASA technology to actually purify agricultural wastewater and then repurposing it as fertilizer. So really creating this very sustainable life cycle from waste to reuse. So it's going to be really cool to hear about that. And then the week after, we have Roshan Umaluwara, our own Roshan, who works for Chevron Phillips. And some of you may not know Chevron Phillips. It's one of the largest chemical companies in the world, and they make all kinds of products for all kinds of industry. And she just completed a competitive datathon with her group, and she designed it and she used it to really drive transformation in their finance group. So she's going to talk to us about her approach, what she learned, some of the really cool ideas that came out of it. And then on November 20th, Swin Huang, who is the CEO and creative director of a company called The Number Two, which makes eyeglasses. But her focus is really on eyeglasses for people's faces that don't fit the kind of norm. So she had trouble finding eyeglasses that fit, as she called it, her Asian face. So she decided to figure out how to fix that problem by creating her own company and creating her own eyeglasses. So ought to be super cool. And then we do have some additional speakers coming up, just confirming them now. But again, if you've got somebody you think would love to talk to our group or would like to run some ideas by our group, just let us know. And all right, and our code of conduct, just a very quick reminder, this is a place where we can have really cool conversations and really pick each other's brains and also try out new ideas. It's a very safe place to do all of that. And so just a reminder that all rights are reserved by the presenter and that we abide by this, the most applicable and logical and pleasurable way to give feedback, which is to give only positive feedback. That's what works best for presenters, it's the best way to absorb feedback and get better. And then always a reminder, just no personal recording of our sessions. We want to keep the honor code to about our presenters and respecting their rights and privacy. So no personal recording. And then, as always, if you've got something you want to talk about, something that's worrying you, conflict of interest, whatever it is, reach out to Todd and me and Ashley, and we will help you figure it out.
Okay, so let's do some social breakout rooms. Now, Zoom is giving me some headaches right now, and I don't know why, but I think I can get this to work. I'm not completely sure. I think everyone's got a room. I think. And if you don't have a room, you're going to hang out with me in the lobby. All right. I'll see you guys in a few. And then once everyone will be back in about 6 seconds, we will get started. All right. Welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Everyone should be joining us. I think I see everyone. All right, cool. Welcome back. I hope everyone had a great time in your breakout rooms. Just a little reminder at the end of the evening, please do fill out the Zoom survey. We're analytics people. We need data. It makes us happy. And just as a reminder, our recordings will be made public on our YouTube channel. And at the end of Sri's presentation, please do stick around for overtime. We will stop recording and we'll probably hang out until 11, 12 o'clock at night. I don't know. We'll see how folks go. All right. So it is my honor to introduce tonight's speaker again, Srinivasa. Sri has spent over 212 years, that was the joke from last time, at Tesla, leading and managing teams, programs, projects, and technology development across sales, service, operations, training, technology, manufacturing, vehicle operations, and information technology. He's worked at small companies such as Cisco and VMware and CoreLogic and VeriSign, really tiny companies. And he's also the creator and the founder of a new audio podcasting platform called Orality, which is designed for podcasting, audiobooks, and ebooks to support the digitization efforts of Indian literature. He holds a master's in technology of entrepreneurship from the University of Maryland, an MBA in information systems, marketing, and finance from Madras University in India, and he's an HBAPer. So we definitely love him and are highly biased. All right. Now, without further ado, as is our custom here at HBAP Startups, if we could all please briefly unmute ourselves and let's give a warm round of applause to our very own Sri.
Welcome, Sri.
Woo!
All right. I'm going to stop sharing. Sri, it's all yours, man.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It's a great pleasure and honor to be here. It's a really it's very thrilling because I just learned something yesterday and I'm sharing it with you all. And I'm still learning on the day. Because AI is changing every day, or new enhancements, new tools. A lot of things are happening. So today's focus is going to be a continuation of where we left off on project management and see how we can leverage Gen AI tools, especially to get the productivity part, efficiency part taken care of. So that's kind of what the focus is going to be. I would try to rush through a few slides so that get the basics, fundamentals, for folks who are new to project management, because I see in the survey, thanks for taking the survey, by the way, 65% of people are either basic or intermediary, and the remaining about 35% are like in the advanced category based on your response, which is interesting because first of all, to leverage Gen AI, we need to be stronger, or we need to at least know some concepts, because if you can ask anything, it's all prompt engineering at the end of the day, but you need to know what questions to ask, how to ask. And then when something comes out through hallucination or whatever, or some bias and things like that, you need to know what is right, what is not. So it's like the concept I would say is trust, but verify, right? You ask something to any kind of GPT tools, but it will tell you something, some output will come, like it's a Google search or anything. It's a Gemini or Chat GPT or Copilot or anything, Llama. You can just go to any tools that you can do, or Perplexity, right? But the point is, how do you make sense out of it? It could be a charter, it could be a tool. So the question is, the second question I asked about to just get to know where do you need help? Where do you need help in project management? Folks responded to people, they wanted collecting status, it's more like administrative, defining scope, target delivery, budget, which is very interesting. Okay, I'm going to decipher this. I'm going to put them into buckets. Please remind me so that somebody can summarize it in the end of the tool, end of the presentation. Remember the 3, remember 5. What is the 3? What is the 5? You will know. Okay, that's the key takeaway of this presentation. I can finish this presentation in 5 minutes. That's just you remember the 3, remember the 5. That's all in today's whatever next 40 minutes, whatever you're going to talk about. So remember the 3 and 5. So you said a lot of scope and other things, follow-ups, which is very administrative, estimation. Interesting. Thank you for taking the survey. About 24 people have responded. And then how do you plan to leverage Gen AI to manage project tasks? So, of course, you kind of went very specific to
So,
automated.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Did you want to share your screen?
You can, I can. This
Okay,
is
because we don't see
the,
anything. We're not
it's all
seeing
over the
anything.
place. No, I'm just talking through.
Oh, okay,
It's
good. I
okay.
wasn't
I'll be
sure.
sharing. I'll be sharing very shortly.
All right.
Okay. But this
Apologies
is
for
okay.
interrupting.
Yeah. And then, no worries. And what are the top concerns for organization-wide Gen AI for PM tasks? Of course, hallucinations, data security, human judgment, privacy. Okay. Because this is important because I wanted to build on what you have just provided. Okay. Now is the show and tell. So thanks for taking the survey. It's not too late. Please do. If you have not taken, I need to collect the data because we are, after all, a HBAP team, right? So thank you, Todd, Susan, and Ashley and the team for helping here. Okay, can you guys see my screen? All right. Okay.
Yes,
Just
you're
a
great.
little bit of a shameless plug. I'm an educator. I do teach as a adjunct faculty member, also serving advisory council in a couple of colleges, a voice actor, podcaster. Orality is my platform. And then, of course, this is the survey we took. So see some of this. I also recently got certified in Harvard Business Publishing to teach the case method of stuff. So I've been teaching in the Golden Gate University here in San Francisco. I tried, whatever I learned, I kind of put it into practice. So wherever I go, I use the Harvard case methods stuff in terms of delivery. So it's really been taken very well, especially project management is really a hot selling cake. Okay, disclaimer, again, it's got nothing to do with the company that I work for because these are all very generic. Mainly I would thank PMI, which is Project Management Institute. I'm a certified PMP from 2005. It's about, what, 20 years now? Okay. And a lot of other things. But today's agenda, quickly, AI and project management. How do you transform PM? Leveraging AI. What are the frameworks, maturity model? And then if you are thinking about doing something for your company, first of all, you need to get approval. You need to see what kind of framework works. What is the industry trend that is happening? How do you go about it? We can touch a little bit. We'll have a follow-up session on that later. Okay. But at least we'll know what does it take. Okay. Current trends and role of personas, like who are the people who are working with these things, right? Standard best practices. And finally, prompt engineering. We're going to spend about 15-20 minutes on the prompt engineering. So wait for that's the main grand finale, okay? Prompt engineering, everybody knows, but I'm going to be very specific to some case that I've taken here, okay? Conclusion, Q&A. Okay, let's get this thing out of the way. The role of generative AI, decision-making, planning, and automation. Okay. Basically, you wanted to be a better decision maker in project management. You know why? 70% of the projects fail, they say. Why? Because of a lot of things. Stakeholder management, communication, not setting expectations, scope management, the time management, and whatever. But lack of planning. And then they just get sucked into the administrative tasks most of the time. So they look for AI to help. So it's already impacting the project work. How do you know? How do you say that? There's a survey done by PMI Research. 21%, they already said, it's about 500 people as a representative sample of people who are got some kind of a AI approved in their organization, and they are using AI at least in one of the projects. That's kind of the case that PMI did. And then 82% of the senior leaders are anticipating that their organization is going to leverage AI. Okay, so that's very interesting here. Okay, in the next 5 years. Okay, where? That's the important thing, right? Where? I asked the question, right? Where do you think? What do you need from? So basically, analyze historical data. You all know it's like any other stuff. You put historical all the project information, put it in a folder, zip it, and give it. And then you just learn from the past. It's like a retrospective you do in an agile environment or in a waterfall method, whatever you do, and then you need to learn. If you look at PMBOK guide, which is basically that's the body of knowledge for project management, this is recommended by PMI, and they are saying, like, it will help you to approach anything, infrastructure, medical industry, construction, or it is an IT project or anything for that matter. It will help you to do the right thing in the right way, and then see if it can help to get this failure percentage reduced. Okay, that's the important thing. Time and cost management. Most of the time, how do you know your estimations are right? That's a problem. How do you know that you're going to see? Most of the companies, when you think about, they set the deadline and say, I'm going to launch a product. Can you deliver? That's it. I've been there. It's not like, okay, can you just take all these requirements, just find out your capacity planning, find out all the dependencies and all, and then WBS, which is work breakdown structure, and then you come back and then tell me how much it's going to cost. Are you going to do a fixed bid, or are you going to do a kind of time and materials project cost, or what is that? When are you going to deliver a few things throughout the Gantt chart? You're familiar, right? Right. So the basic idea here is you wanted to be right. You wanted to earn the value, like based on your planned value. So I'm going to put some jargons here. Planned value, earned value. Okay. And I'll take questions later. Okay. Let me just get through this. Put
Okay,
your
yeah,
questions in
Roland.
the chat. Yeah. Risk management.
I didn't raise my hand.
Yeah. Okay. Risk management. Basically, this is very important. People say, right, as a project manager, I want to spend my time in less administrative and more communication, managing the risk and eliminate the risk, talk to people, coach the team, guide the team, and things like that. So so if AI can help me, yes, it will help. We can see some examples. And then, of course, this is the basic. Everybody is trying to automate it, doing the minutes and help generating code for some development people who are part of the project, or insights from the past project data, etc. Okay. So basically, remember, I asked to remember and remind me later. That's kind of a hint I'm giving you. 3 buckets you can summarize. Automation, which is automate low complexity tasks, report generation, data analysis, meeting notes, summaries. You all know this. Okay. It can help the project manager in analytics, right? Analysis. First draft. Give me a project charter. What is a project charter? What is the project charter? What are we delivering? When are we delivering? Whom are we delivering? Who is the stakeholder? When is it due? What are the milestones? What is in scope? What is not in scope? What is the risk? And what are the assumptions? Everything put together in one page. Remember, we did that in one of the sessions earlier. Okay. So you are taking the assistance of GenAI to generate, I'm giving you the scope of this project. These are my stakeholders, order, supply chain, everybody is involved, and I'm going to build a ERP solution development, or I'm going to give an ordering system. I'm going to develop a shopping cart for my startup company. And then here are my requirements, and here are all the deliverables. At the end of the day, I'm going to integrate with a credit card payment or bank payment, or I'm going to do split payments, and it's going to be international. It's going to be one language. It's going to be not localized for that matter. You just say a couple of brief things and then say, hey, can you generate a charter for me? And then you validate it. So that's one thing. Now the question here is, what's going to cost? How much is going to cost? Then you say that it needs so much of developers because there is a front end, there is a back end. Front end is the UI. The back end is the database. Then there is a middle layer, which is the integration layer. You see the enterprise application integration, right? So that's what is going to communicate, right? So you need, how much is going to cost? So you get some kind of a framework with what GenAI can provide based on what? Based on past of your projects. If you put all of your projects in your company, if you think you wanted to look at the holistic entire globe, it will just make, of course, it will hallucinate. You don't know what to trust, what not, but at least it will get you something and assist the project manager. Augmentation. GenAI can augment the capabilities of project managers performing strategic tasks, business cases. Like, you just wanted to know, I mean, there are like about 6 projects. Which one should I execute? There is $1 million or $2 million. Marketing has got 5 projects. Finance has got 5 projects. Supply chain has got 3 projects. Okay. IT themselves, they've got some infrastructure projects. Okay. Now the question here is, you wanted to know, how do I take this 2 million and distribute it to these projects? Which project should I work on? If I am IT, I need to be prioritizing my queue and then give it to IT and then say what it is. You know what I mean? So those kind of augmentation, not the automation, not the assistance, the augmentation will help you make a educated decision based on data. So you as a program manager and project manager, you look at companies, but technical program managers, they are very powerful. They are not like a pass-through. Pass-through is like, collect status from one place to the other place and then collect a status report, weekly status report, and then say red, green, yellow, and then say risk. Here are the risk, here are the issues, here is the mitigation plan, and here is the jeopardy notice. No, we can do a lot of much better things with GenAI, with data, and focus on strategic tasks, okay, and create a business case to see. This is something called, you guys heard of it, right? What is something called triple constraints? What are the triple constraints? One is the schedule. Other one is the what? The cost and resources, for example. You can easily say, right, how many people you need, how much, at what cost, and then you can say the time, of course. When are you going to do that, which is schedule, right? Correct? Now, there is something called value triple constraint, which means even though you know how much it costs, even though when are you going to deliver and what is the scope, of course, scope is very important. Scope, time, and, the cost, right? So the point here is value triple constraint talks about something interesting, which is talks about, even though, right, I know it's going to cost about 500K to do this project, etc. There's also another project which is going to cost about 300, but you need to know which is going to get a value. So that way you put a competitive matrix and then say, is it compliance, legal, regulatory stuff? Is it something of a data privacy loss, right? Okay. Or is it something, it's a competitive advantage for doing the project? Or is this something, because if you don't, is it a productivity efficiency gain? Whatever you're doing in 3 hours, you're going to do it in 30 minutes, right? What is that you're going to get out of this project? So that means and then you need to know that. Why? Out of this 20 projects that is bidding for the same whatever million, you need to know which one should I take up in prioritization. Project prioritization is very weak across organization because crying baby gets fed. That's exactly what happens. That's not how you should be. Influential, politics, that's all happening. There is no educated decision. You know what? GenAI can help. In this case, you can just put all this and then at least, you can put this data and then see what have we done in the past. Because a lot of people, they claim that their projects are going to get value. At the end of the day, who's really monitoring whether we really realize that value, whatever we said that we will accomplish? That's an important thing. Okay, so much about the theory. Let's get to the meat of the. So here is a nice way to look at it. It's beautiful. This is from a PMI, what they summarized it. You can see here, sorry. You can see meeting note summary. They're all here. Who does the work? Augmenting, assisting him. And then you can see cost benefit analysis, and you can see business case creation, project decision making. It's just nice way to say whatever I said earlier. So this is a nice, good visual. What else can the PM do? Stakeholder management, build relationship, because this is the problem, because stakeholder always complain. They say, I don't know where the project is. I do not know what the challenge is. I do not know that my team gave you additional scope, which was not there in the original business requirements document. You can write business requirements document with GenAI based on just whatever the meeting notes and stuff you have. Just put every notes together and then say, can you just make sense out of this and get me business requirements document and group them and help prioritize them based on what the team done. And then you have a communication with the stakeholders and then say, this is what I can do in release 1. This is what I can do in release 2 and release 3. Build and manage high performing teams. The problem is the project manager is not just asking, hey, are you done? No. Hey, are you blocked? Can I help you? Is there any way? Where are you blocked? Because the projects fail because dependencies are not understood, are not documented. It's like everybody says, I'm done. They don't care about anything else. No, it's like a downstream, upstream, everybody needs to work together. If you look at the Gantt chart, you always see that there is a lag, there is a dependency, the milestone, you're not done until, the entire tasks are done and you meet the deliverable, which is validated and signed off. In an agile environment, that's super important. Strategic thinking, you need to align projects with business goal. And that's exactly right. You prioritize. Remember I said you need to prioritize? You need to prioritize with what? Not in solo isolation. You need to do it with the business teams. So when you say align projects with business goal, that you need to know, are we generating value? What is the ROI? Am I realizing? When am I realizing that? So you need to do all that. Communication, leadership skills, implementation, consideration. The problem is don't install and run. You need to implement. Implementation means ability to have the customer communicate with you when there is a problem. It's like a product support, like Apple or anything for that matter, or a shopping cart that you build, and then or any modules, a financial solution, banking solution. You need to know it's not a software implemented there. You need to help them. Project artifacts. What they can do, right? Get all the artifacts, the charter, the status reports, the plans, project plan, lessons learned. I always do recommend my project team to have lessons learned and then say, give a shout out to people who have done very well. And then always say, what did you learn from the previous project? What are you going to not repeat the next time? Gantt chart, issues, risks, outcome, metrics, everything, collect it in a folder, keep it in SharePoint or any kind of a collaborative tool. That is what you just bundle and put it when you develop a LLM module where either you buy or buy an off-the-shelf tool for supporting your AI project. You need to make sure that these are all going there because you learn from that. Make GenAI to help you and say, something. You said you're going to deliver this project for this UI module, which has got about 200 hours of development work and about 30% of QA built in and about 10% of integration testing, QA functional here, integration testing, and then about another 5% of UAT. And I'm going to deliver this in some amount of time. Let's say it's going to take about 9 weeks. Immediately, GenAI will tell you, I'm so sorry to tell you, you have never delivered anything within 16 weeks based on what I know from the past. You see what I'm saying? That means you will be better at your estimation because you know the capabilities, the skill sets, you know from historical data. But if you wanted to do that, you have to collect the data. We manage everything by data. That's for sure. Okay. All right. Continuous assessment, organizational alignment for new technology, because without organization support, you cannot. Even we are going to see some McKinsey and Gartner report very quickly. Okay. But before we go there, look at this. This is something similar. Now you understand, why I asked that question about, hey, what's your expertise in projects? How are you using GenAI? So that's kind of what the PMI asked. And you can see here about majority of the percent, about 50 here in the adapter innovator. Explorers are here. They're still hesitant. They're still evaluating, not there. It's like your, what is that called? Crossing the chasm kind of model, innovation, typical innovation stuff. Trailblazers are super good. They are using generative AI for basically they are forefront. So what actually happening is, right, 70% of the projects fail. So what we all need to do as project managers here is one thing. Just use it for better the business case, the budgeting, forecasting, better forecasting, and the risk management. Use it for really tough tasks, innovative tasks, because you continue to train the model. Not not just use it for automation, meeting minutes, status reports. That all is okay. But what they're saying is that's what they recommend here is, you please, to prevent the failures or minimize the failures, start using Gen AI for project management. That's what the industry gurus are saying. Okay. Now, sorry about the eye chart here, but look at this. But what they are using it for? Communication. Okay. And then, of course, how do you read it? Don't worry about the wave one, wave two, that just like multiple times they did. But what I would like to see, where is the major percentage? Summarizing and reviewing content most of the time. Data analysis, 69%. Then the next big is planning. Planning is super, because planning is where you do the estimation. Right? When can we deliver? Who do we need? What type of a teaming mix that we need? What do we learn from the previous project and things like that? Okay. Then risk identification is halfway down. You say, am I at risk to deliver something? I'm going to give you an example there. Budgeting and cost management. So this is again, it's about a 500 people that they interviewed. PMI again, thanks. So they just say you'll get to know, when you know how others are using, then you will follow suit, right? So that's kind of what the main idea of comparison of Gen AI usage between Explorer and Trailblazers. We're not doing the middle one. Okay. All right. Individual performance factors. So they were asked a question about this. Hey, what do you use it for? Data analysis, 64%. Summarizing, 53%. Planning and monitoring. Risk identification, budgeting. So what they expect to see is the last two to be done more. Now the question is, the project managers, they responded here. This is what they respond. They said, what am I using it for? Like you say, productivity, that helps them. The system, Gen AI does the data analysis for. Summarizing and review content, you see, a productivity again. Planning and monitoring, productivity again. Risk identification, yes, of course, you can see problem solving, because they want to get ahead and have Gen AI predict and then say, you're not going to meet on time. You're going to get stuck with this delivery. You're not seeing something where from historically, based on past data only. There's no magic. Okay. So just an example, so that it gives you an idea. Okay. And, it doesn't matter which tool you use. I'm not going to recommend anything, even though I use Chat GPT for the model, especially for, just prompting, which we are going to see. What does Gartner say? Gartner, it is general about maturity model for AI. You must have seen and read. So basically, you need to have the transformational organization. Being a startup, right? If you want to really get ahead of the curve, you need to make it, AI is part of the DNA. Okay. And then what the others are doing, other companies, they are using for disruptive and new business models, etc. But I think for me, I would say you need to have a good framework, a good process, good organized mechanism. If you don't have a process, you better focus on the process first and then use Gen AI. If you don't even have a process, then you can just get something and then go with it. Okay. So this is just only FYI. You can search, you will find this data. Oh, this is interesting. Why I asked that other question in the survey as to see what do you worry about? What do you worry about here? What do they say? Inaccuracy, because it's all Gen AI can hallucinate, right? So basically, look at the bottom portion I'm reading. I'm focusing on here, and then it's the two data are just how it was last year and how it was mid-year. This is from McKinsey report, and then look at, don't poke into too much of details, but here at least look at what are they concerned. Inaccuracy, intellectual property. You're putting all your data into ChatGPT and Copilot and other places. So you don't put your proprietary data and your stuff into the public world. So you better be careful. And then cybersecurity, who get access to what, personal non-identifiable information, right? And for PIN, and then regulatory compliance. You ought to be very careful. And then, so that's what they say, relevant risk. So this is in general for any AI, but I'm saying you can use this for even for project management too. Okay, project management too, you can definitely say that, hey, these are the things that you need to pay attention to as a project manager. Don't just dump every data because it gives you something. Don't just share that. Okay. Okay. What do we do? Read this slide. This one says, okay, okay, I understood Gen AI can help me. I'm going to really make it create a AI project, etc. They say even the failure for an AI project could be there. So you need to make sure you select the right vendor, project selection, development, evaluation, adoption, ongoing. This is kind of like the IPECC of project management, right? Initiate, plan, execute, control, closing. So you need to make sure you have a very good approval from the business. This is the HBR article, by the way, guys. And realistic expectations, because AI is still maturing, not fully matured. So it's not a magic, and you need to have clear goals and what are you expecting. How do you validate and verify? Trust but verify. Okay, and then this is 80%, nearly double that of traditional IT project. He's kind of very what you can say, generous here. He said estimated at 80%. Okay, double. I don't think project failures are at 40%. The industry, they say 70%, but doesn't matter. Nevertheless, the point for us is, let's make sure we take a methodical, structured approach. Okay, that's all it says here, the key item here. Okay, super. Okay, who are the people who are interacting? This is always very important, right? Sponsor, we need to have the guy who wears your T-shirt and do this. You remember we saw in one of the startup presentation 2 weeks ago, right? He said the guy who wears your T-shirt and then represent you, because he has got vested interest to make you succeed. Product leaders, because project and product, maybe we can have a separate conversation on that, because project management leaders help product launch. Okay, so there's a very thin line here, because we help the product to get to the finish line, because the project not only take care of the product, the hardware or software, but project take care of the entire implementation of communication, training, and the implementation, the piloting. Okay, and all the status report and everything. So we kind of help hand in glove with product leaders. Stakeholders, end users, of course, we like any banking software or anything, we call some early end users to come and test our product and things like that. So, the enabling better collaboration. Okay, decision making is done by the project manager. All right. I'm trying to keep up with the time. Okay, let's talk about prompt engineering. You guys know this very well. Everybody, come on, Sri. This all we know. Why are we talking about? No, this. If you really want to get the right answer, please ask the right question. And if you don't ask the right question first time, don't worry about it. Just try to interact. First of all, they say first you diverge and then converge. That's kind of the principles here. I'm not going to bore you on prompt engineering, but basically, key principles, clarity. You need to clarify who you are, define goals, and specifically ask the question. And if you see something in the slide where I hinted, you need to remember the 3s and 5s. That's the 5 on top. Okay, RACFT. Context is crucial. Please, you need to give the context. So you need to first of all say who you are, the role. You as a project manager, you as a product leader, you as a financial consultant, you are somebody looking to get some action or ask a question, and then C, which is set the context. I'm preparing an educational presentation. I need something from you for this particular purpose, and I am a professor. I'm doing it for the student, and I need something in this particular format from you. Provide a format to the system, to the GPT solution, and then it will give you. That way, if you have a charter, you're a seasoned project manager. I think at least 40% people in this call who took the survey, they said they are seasoned. So you can ask them, like, are they, when they prompt something to get something from the system, are they providing a format, a Gantt chart format, a WBS format, or a project charter format, an issue matrix, a risk mitigation matrix, a RACI chart? Please do, because otherwise you got to just get what the system gives you. That's not what you need. You want the way you want it, right? So, and iterate. Don't just take the first response. You ask then, why do you think so? Set boundaries. This we all learned, right, in prompt engineering, right? And so set boundaries and then set the format. And then, of course, the tone is important. I'm going to teach this younger kids. I'm going to teach the teens. I'm going to talk to professionals. I'm going to talk to my executive management. They don't understand a lot of technical jargons, right? And constraints, you just say, hey, I wanted to give a step by step and tell me why. Why did you choose this approach? Give me the pros and cons of it. Don't just give me something. Give me step by step. Give me pros and cons. Tell me why. And to an extent, I always say, give me all the references that you used. Thanks to Todd, I loved it when he did the notebook LM. I really enjoyed his presentation to one of the student happy hour, not happy. What is that? The office hours. I loved it because I did my Harvard forum presentation. I put that into the LM, and then it gave me a beautiful audio from that. And then it was very nice because it just gave me a lot of ideas for taking the conversation to the next level. It was so beautiful. So you need to really provide what are you expect your expectations are. Okay. Okay, let's get into the meat of this. This is just like I'm setting the stage here. Hope you're all enjoying. Give me a thumbs up, okay? Just to motivate me. Okay. Here. Okay. Just a couple of things I highlighted for you. Okay, you know this. Be specific, all this, right? Summarize the key findings and recommendations from this report. Okay, you look for action-oriented here. I'm preparing a project report. Can you consolidate the following financial data and highlight key trends? Use a graph or anything. This is like any prompt engineering. Can you provide two different options for restructuring the project plan based on resource constraint? I love this because there's no single approach to solve a problem, right? There are multiple ways to solve the problem. So it's up to you to see which option is right with the pros and cons and the logic as to why.
Uh-oh.
Okay. Sorry, there's a comment. Okay. Assume the budget is 500,000 and the timeline is 6 months. Based on this, what projects can you identify? It's a very, very bare bone comments here. Okay. Similarly, compare the pros and cons of agile versus waterfall. Try this prompting. Propose resource utilization. Most of the people, even you commented in the risk, I wanted to know how many resources do I need to develop this project? Provided I have like 1 million, I have or whatever, 500 million, whatever. I wanted to deliver something. I wanted to develop a website with a shopping cart, for example. I'm just using a simple example with a UI, with a middle integration layer, with a database layer, with a lot of validations, with the payment services, with the reporting included. Can you please create a work breakdown structure for me? Okay, and tell me how long does it take, and then it will generate in an Excel format, which you can put it in a project plan and you can use it. It will be super intelligent way of doing things. So you can do all that. Okay. Now, I'm going to go to the scenarios. So maybe it will take another 15 minutes. How are we doing on time, Todd? And any questions for me at this point?
Oh,
We'll
dude,
just
you're doing great, man. Like we'll stay here till midnight. Like just keep going, man.
Sure. Okay, thank you. So let's do some case scenarios or examples. This is really awesome. I enjoyed it because you know what? I did a case. I'll tell you 3 different examples and then we can talk more. So here, the first one, I'm going to quiz you here. Just maybe Todd, can you ask folks if they put any comments in the chat? Let them tell me. Okay. Here is a case.
You keep going. Yeah, you're
You
good.
watch for the chat. A
All right.
software development project got 100,000 budget. Timeline is 6 months. So the 3 months have passed. So 3 months is what? 50% is gone, right? So the actual cost is what? Whatever the cost that is here. And hold on, I can't see my screen. 60,000. And the project is 50% complete. So you know, right? Okay. Now we are asking this question. What are the risks of not completing the project on time? This is really brilliant. I'll tell you. Am I over or under budget at this point? Am I behind or ahead? It's not like a subjective opinion of somebody. There's a lot of math in this. What am I behind or ahead of schedule? What is the earned value? Earned value is like, there's something called planned value. Planned value is I'm supposed to be delivering this report by the 8th week of the project. You put it all in the Gantt chart. Okay. Now, 8th week comes, the report is not there. So your earned value is not there. The planned value and earned value is not there. So that means what? It is going to hit your schedule, right? So for example, right? So it's combined answers to individual questions. So here is asking, what is your cost? What is the schedule? What should I know as a risk? Now tell me if anybody, people who are experienced, just quickly, that's okay. Just give me a ballpark. What do you think is happening here? Are they going to be under the budget or over the budget? Do they need more time to complete this? What do you guys think? Take 30 seconds. Get a voice break here.
Victor responds in the Zoom chat, it depends. And Kartik said, over the budget.
Good.
Over budget.
Over the
Or it
budget.
says over
Okay.
budget.
What about schedule?
Schedule. I think they're going to be early and under budget. No.
Early and under budget. Okay. Okay. Let's see what ChatGPT said.
It depends.
Okay. It depends. I like the
I think
typical
that
consulting
everyone's
approach.
like, yeah, depends is the winner right now. So
okay. You want to see what's happening? I'm going to play it slowly, okay? Okay. I put this as a prompt. This case, I use the same thing. I didn't do any magic. Okay, so then, of course, typically, I'm going to play this. Watch this. I'm going to pause it. Earned value by actual cost, 50,000 by 60,000, 0.83. Since this cost performance index is less than 1, you are over budget at this point. For every dollar spent, you're only getting 0.83 worth of work done. Answered first question, right? Second, am I behind or ahead of schedule? Wait. Am I behind or ahead of schedule? Okay. It's playing. Hope you can see. And then it says, like, look at this, right? It says earned value by planned value. So here, in this case, right, you're actually what? You are, is it equal to 1? You're fine that you are on schedule. It has to be greater than 1 in both cases. Your cost performance index and schedule performance index should be greater than 1. You're actually 1, that's fine. Indicate that you are on schedule in terms of time, but not in terms of cost. So okay, then what happens? So you should focus on improving cost efficiency to ensure that the project delivers. Okay, final answer. On schedule, the earned value is 50,000. The estimate to complete, which is ETC, is approximately 60. That means you need more money. That's it. You need more money, but 20,000 more, right? So you only have 100,000 budget. Such a simple thing, right? You can just do all this magic here. Cool? All right, let's go to the next one. This is actually, I just put a case study from the project management to see, how it performs. It's analyze the case to provide a summary and recommendation, include the pros and cons to align with PMBOK. This is very good because this is a case study about a problem. I was testing the prompt. I need help to understand the key issues and come up with recommendations as a consultant or a lead PM. For each recommended solution options, I would like you to provide pros and cons and justification as to why such recommendation has been provided. I'm not going to take just simple answer. Also, a summary, please provide key takeaways as to what project management tools methodology should I adopt for my future project based on the lessons learned. I want some guidance from the system. Finally, identify some of the project management concepts because I'm trying to educate myself on this. Okay. this is the general concept: initiation, planning, execution, control. Because I wanted to know it is just cooking up something or it is referring to a PMBOK guide. Okay, so that's kind of what I did. And then here is a case summary. Actually, what happens in this case is there is a green public books company, publishing company. It gets from the college professors, it gets a lot of notes and books to be printed. They all come at different time. And the books company has got some temporary workers. So it is not really managing the workforce. There is no proper schedule, and there is an approval process. This hunky, it's not like hunky-dory easy one. There's a lot of issues in this case study. Okay. So it's called a mini case, defining standard project. So I'm asking these questions to understand what it is. Let's see what it has done. Look at this. This is something, it will take about 3 minutes, I believe. There's no music. Maybe I'm going to be rattling here.
Hey, Sri, there was a question from Gabriel in the Zoom chat. Do you want me to read it or come back to it later?
Yeah. Come back to it later, because
Okay.
let's pay attention to this one, because I wanted to know the power of Gen AI here to educate us. Even if you are not a project management savvy person, it will tell you the PMBOK stuff here. Okay, look at this, and then I'm scrolling right now. See, it says your order arrival. You have a process problem. You have a standardization problem in the job orders. You are not allocating resources properly, part-time, and they're not always. Your cost tracking and scheduling. All of these are project management 101. So they're giving me recommendations, and it gives me pros and cons of that. That's what I like. Centralize the scheduling, because nobody can see each other's schedule. That's bad. And then it's also telling, hey, as an operations manager, you need to train your part-time employees. See, you asked about that question, right? What can a project management do if everything is done by Gen AI? I will focus on the gaps in the operational process of the company. Improve communication. Then it gives me a summary here, which is basically use of standardized templates. This is really brilliant, man. I'm telling you. And then I'm trying to get to the PMBOK, which is the project management body of knowledge. I'm trying to relate it to educate me. Super cool. Okay. Okay. Then I think before okay. What's the question? Let's talk about the question. Right. Sure.
Gabriel had a question. What is the bulk of the costs? Sorry. What is the bulk of the costs are at the beginning of the project? That calculation is making a lot of assumptions about variables it cannot account for. No? Yes, no? I'm not sure.
No. In this case, or the previous one?
The previous one. And sir, it should have said what if, not what is. Sorry.
No. In this case, like, very good question. I mean, we don't have a lot of details on that, because it
Right.
assumes that, you need to have like vendor cost contracting, for example, or it could be a developer's cost. If a developer is working for 40 hours a week, each developer is about $80 an hour. So what is the cost involved, right? And what if the developer is not skilled enough, right? So that means what happens if you are going to get additional 20 hours for the developer to do some work for you. You have to do 20 times 80, for example. That's one thing. And it's not good enough, because you need to think about QA cost, because QA needs to do testing. And then QA comes with regression. Then you also come about some costing from the UAT, which is user acceptance testing. So that is important. And you need to also provide the risk management, because if I guess it's not a scope creep here. If it is a scope creep, then that means your addition of new things into it could cause more risk. Not a lot of details are there, but this is just an example to see the power of Gen AI. That's it. You can always provide, you can just put your entire project plan into Gen AI and ask it to just analyze it and give it to you.
All right.
Good question. Good question.
Yeah, thanks for your answer.
Thank you. All right. Any question? Can we go further to the third one?
Keep going. You're good.
No problem. Okay. Simple. I gave a simple comment. The program is running behind schedule and is at risk of missing the communicated deadline to our stakeholders. Teams are not in sync. We have budget constraints. This is just some basic cooked up stuff. Okay. basically, I wanted to know what are my options. This happens, right? You have a project charter, you have a scope, you have a deliverable by some timeline. Now everybody says that it's not my problem. It is because I developed. QA says no. What is this? They are developed all buggy. Just give it back to developer. And developer says no. The QA is not really putting valid bugs. We develop as the business analyst wrote the requirements. You ask the business analyst, no, I put the requirement based on what the product manager gave me. What the product manager, I did that based on the business gave me requirements. Look at this. They all pass the bug and they talk to each other like this. So that nobody's on the same page. So now, guys, whatever it is, we are here. We have a deadline. We have to release this product. Okay? We are not in sync. What are my options? What are the 3 things I can do? Okay? Can anybody take a guess? I'm not giving you much. There is a deadline. Let's say October 10th, I should have done something. Okay? Or let's say today. Today you have to go to a steering committee meeting. You're supposed to deliver something. Okay? You are not there. You cannot do it. What are the options that you can do? You have to present to a steering committee meeting with options. Can you take 30 seconds? I'm not giving you much details, but team not in sync. You're going to miss the deadline. What can you do? Todd, can you help me there? Anybody?
I got nothing, man.
Todd, no worries, no worries. This is what I prompted the system. Look at this. Read this one. I kind of went like a big Ramayana, as they say, like historically. Hey, I ran into issues in one of the cross-functional enterprise-wide technical software program that I'm leading in. See, I was very detailed. The program is running behind schedule. Research missing the communicated deadline to our stakeholders. I'm afraid we are going to provide on-time delivery. Business stakeholders and a few external customers will be impacted, blah, blah. I'm giving sales order, work order, finance application, order fulfillment. I just gave. We have gathered requirements. I'm just telling, I'm kind of crying on somebody's shoulders here. If the project faces and deliverables correctly, it was signed off well, but due to change orders and scope additions, ran into this mess. I'm giving.
I mean, honestly, Sri, my response to this would be fire the team, blame some external factors, like pestle analysis, come up with some garbage and go to the boss and be like, see, we cut all the loose fat.
No, we are so close. I don't want to just, maybe there are a lot of root cause we need to understand, first of all. So,
actually, I take it back. Susan just put this in the Zoom chat. She wins.
okay.
Use Team Stack to solve the team issues. That's the one. Yeah.
Resolve team issues. Okay. Hence, we are in a fix to deliver on time. Okay. The various work streams convene and facilitate the executive steering committee to present your recommendations in approach. Include a short review of the situation. I'm asking all this. Okay. Can you do me? Help me. Actually, this happened. It happens in every project manager. Always, I've seen my CFO comes to me, Sri, what can I do for you? What do you need? Who should I ask what? I built ERP solution. Okay. One of the big boss asked, if anybody asks anything, let me know. This is what you are developing, and that is good enough for release 1. That's the minimal viable product. We can always come back with the rest of the releases and stuff like that. Okay. So interestingly, there are very many options, and it kind of matched what I was thinking to do, and the system match. Can we see that? Okay. Watch. Maybe 2 minutes. I'm just highlighting it so that you can read slowly. Okay. I'm giving you context. This is delivering a software product. The business can wait for a future release. Okay. Convene and facilitate. This is the ask. I want to facilitate a steering committee meeting to present the recommended solution approach. Include a short review. I need to do that. And also I asked for a communication plan later. So I'm ask me questions. See, that's another thing. Ask GPT, hey, ask me a question if something is not clear, because I might be over enthusiastic in asking. So here it gives me, hey, here is my understanding. Here are the key points. Scope creep. It says it very well. It identified scope creep. Challenges leading to delay. Resource constraint, differing priorities, business impact. See, this recommendation, defer non-critical features, extend the timeline, so that tell them, hey, can you give me 2 weeks or anything not important, just do it for the point release, or increase resource temporarily. But the problem is, if you increase resources temporarily, you're going to incur cost. And then it's giving me recommended path forward. Align workstream leads on critical. See, this is Susan, you're right. You need to get the workstream leads to align on what is critical, what is not. Now, I'm not giving up. I'm asking it, hey, can you give me a RACI chart? Okay, who's responsible, accountable, who should be consulted? And here, okay, here, don't take this verbatim. It's not correct. It gave me all of this RACI, who is responsible for quality, who is responsible for stakeholder communication, who is responsible. Wait, let me go back here. Yeah, see, it's giving me the scope and definition, all this. Not everybody can be accountable, not everybody can be responsible. So you got to be careful, okay? This is a hallucination here. This is not right. You need to go with what is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. Okay? Key points for steering committee. Decision on critical versus non-critical features. Hold on. Don't, yeah. Risk mitigation strategy, budget, and resource overview. So you just, I'm getting some. Now I'm asking another question. Hey, okay, now after you present, what are the questions I as a program manager must be prepared to answer? What are the data points that I should have it handy to address any of the questions from the stakeholders, as they may not be happy with the recommendation? Because people think, what are you managing? If something is successful, the developers did it. If something failed, project manager failed. That's kind of what it is, politics, man. Can you please help create a short executive communication where I, as a program manager, send out an update? Okay. So I am also asking, maybe this is the context. So what should I be prepared for? Okay. So, and then let me play it again. So here, okay, questions must be prepared. So I need to be prepared. Why were these scope changes accepted? What does that tell you? There's no clear change management process. You just accept because business asks everything. You need to tell people, hey, if you need something, what should you take off from the already accepted stuff? That's the trade-off. That's where the sponsor helps. Why were the scope changes accepted? Okay. Did I go too fast? Hold on. Did I go too fast? Hello. Yeah. That's fine. I'll play it here. So question must be, question must be prepared to answer as a program manager, and then it gives me an email draft. Okay. What are the risks of, what is the impact on our business if we defer these features? You need to be prepared to answer. Can we recover the timeline without deferring features? Is there a possible? What are the risks of deferring features? What is the plan? See, here is the important thing on value triple constraint, which means if you are robbing Peter to pay Paul, okay, take somebody else from another development resource to come and do some stuff for you, what happens to that project? So that's where you need to do the value triple constraint, means what value are you generating between the two projects? Which project is more priority? So you can just do that. You know what I mean? So that is where, you as a project manager, AI cannot replace you. You need to know the communication. You need to know the read between the lines. You need to know the situation, context, read the room and things like that. Gen AI is supports, automates and whatever, but that's where, you are the king here. And you need to know the resource burn rate on, you need to be prepared and say, hey, you got 8 developers. What are they doing? So you need to be prepared for that. What is the risk? How did you not know this risk earlier? What is the scope originally you accepted in the project charter? What is the current scope? You need to keep the data in your back pocket so that if steering committee asks, you can just cover your bases and then say, this is why it is. Cool? And then this is the communication plan. So you did what? A RACI chart, you did a communication plan, you prepared your question, you're getting ready for the steering committee meeting, you're coming up with option. All of this was in this case. Cool? This is I asked, okay, you said a lot about burn utilization. Can you give me a sample of that? And then it just gave me a development team, so many hours, used hours, remaining hours. So this is very important. As a project manager, you need to know these things. You know what I mean? All right. Utilization chart. Actually, then I said, oh, okay, this is really very interesting. Then can you show me in a chart form, Jira, for example? Jira is a great tool by Altasian, right? And then it gives you risk analysis here, all this. See, I asked for a risk analysis. So you learn, you educate yourself and tweak it, trust but verify, okay? Delay in final testing phase. I ask all of this. So that means, you're a seasoned project manager, you can ask these questions. If you're not, then you will get over it. Not a big deal, but a lot of things. The impact, likelihood, mitigation strategy, owner, and then, it just gives me a lot of good things actually. Now, I'm asking, hey, I'm afraid there'll be questions on the agile process and techniques we have used. I'm just trying to have a chatty there. Is there a way to show visible format in the graphs or the methodology used? I'm asking it to do some chart for me so that I can use it in my presentation. So it just don't worry about earned value plan. These are all just education. It just gives me a summary and then visualization. That was pretty cool actually. I hope I still have that chart. See this? What is a planned? What is a velocity chart? These are all Jira stuff. Complete. You say how long it takes for you to complete against what was planned. So it just gave me a very good documentation, but I need to validate this. Okay. These are all available in some of the tools, project management tools that are available, Jira, Asana, or anything. Plan view. It could be anything for that matter. Okay. All right. Okay. Before I conclude, any questions for me on this? Or maybe I conclude and then we can talk. Okay. AI tools for success, essential for project management success. What are the three things that we talked about? It's there. The hint is here. The three things that I was requesting to remember: automating, assisting, augmenting. AI for efficiency, but consider ethics, privacy, and secure IP. Improved communication risks, etc. Super. All right.
Sri, this is amazing. Folks, if you have any questions, please feel free to raise your Zoom hands and we'll call on you.
Yeah.
So did I hear you say that those graphs, you had to verify them from?
Yeah. I need to
didn't
verify to
understand.
make sure that they are right. This is just an example, right?
Okay.
I didn't provide a lot of data.
Yeah.
It is just a sample format, and some of these tools that they can just verify. Yeah.
Yeah, my experience with the charts, unless you're giving it and you're a spreadsheet or data set and you're looking at the Python code, it doesn't. I've had mixed
You
results.
need to validate it because the
Yeah.
graphs
Okay.
look generally colorful.
Good. Laos, and then we'll go to Victor.
Yeah, thanks, Sri. I think my question is more general in terms of advice, not necessarily the material that you presented. So I studied taking some classes on being PMP certification, but again, with the full-time job, it's a lot of work after work. So do you feel that there's a sense that with the AI capability, the whole certification, is it still something that you still recommend people to invest, or it's more of a learning the tools and then probably can I utilize the PMP tools that are available as opposed to get the certification by itself?
Very good question. I think, you know what, you'll be able to ask the right questions if you know the terminologies very well. And so I think I would strongly recommend you at least get a certificate in project management, right? If not the full PMP, which is project management professional, rather you can do, or that will be better, because even if you need to know the prompt engineering very well, but even if you need to know what to prompt, right? Other than very generical way to ask a chat GPT or Gemini or whatever for that matter, I would suggest you get to know some of the basic terminologies will really make you look good and ask the right questions. That's a short thing. It's a very easy. A lot of online courses are available. Even PMI.org also has got some good classes and courses.
Thank you.
Thanks, Laos. Victor.
Yes, thanks, Sri, for putting this together and presenting to us tonight. My question has to do with your understanding of PMBOK and the PMI methodology, and that those been around for many years, and of course they've evolved, but they're highly structured. I think you would agree. So the question is, do you foresee the possibility of a highly structured set of prompts to guide any project manager that could be commercialized as a guideline use of AI for product management?
Totally, I would say that, the simple structure I said, remember the five, right? The five, basically the role, the action, the context, the format, the tone, simple thing, right? That it can come in a different form. And also you set some boundaries and then say, hey, open up to ask questions, because that will be better to get really good results. Like otherwise, it's not going to give you racy chart, or it does not give you the burn chart. It doesn't give you the WBS structure, which is a work breakdown structure by itself. You got to ask the right questions to, if you do it and say, here is what I'm running into, tell me, so that I can, then you go and look for implementing. You are action oriented, right? You're not just learning the theory part of it. You wanted to something actionable at the end of the day. I would say that, yes, PMBOK is very dry. PMBOK is structured dry, but there are a lot of knowledge areas and process areas, right? And like a risk mitigation also. What is the likelihood of the risk occurrence, right? And then everything, it is structured method. Even it will, that's why you as a project manager leverage the prompt engineering in a way and form you want it. Then you will get the right results.
Thanks. And a follow-up question. I made some comment in the chat that I want to make sure I wasn't misleading anybody. When I think about project management and budgeting, there may be, out of the total budget, some finer details that will, let's say, affect the response of an AI tool to the types of questions. Am I behind schedule, budget, etc.? And what I meant by that was things like upfront costs for establishing the project, maybe some software licensing for tools that are required to develop. And on the other end, perhaps implementation costs like travel expense for on-site training and what have you. So do you, let me say it differently. Would you put in the prompt as you're going through these iterations with the AI, those types of costs, so that it knows to exclude those from burn rate, for example?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good question. But there are something where the sheer, you can mark it as X plus time and materials, right? The time and materials is like they say it's not a fixed bid, right? That where you say you get a 1 million, you can spend it in whatever you save, you make it as a profit, or it's a time and materials in consult. I came from consulting. I was in Arthur Andersen for like 8 years. And pretty much we do time and materials. Like say it's going to cost about so much of a senior manager, a partner, and this much of a senior consultant. Then this is for the junior, and then these are going to spend so many hours and things like that. And then they always say 20% extra for time and material. They kind of put it like that. And if you're not going to spend 20%, that's fine. You're going to make it into your profitability like that. So you can do like that. Again, use GenAI for guidance, and then you can always ask the GenAI to get a spreadsheet, and then you add it to it, right? So you're not going to just take it and present it, right?
Okay.
You're going to get it, tweak it,
so
fix it, and then do it.
That's what I wanted to explore, just one level deeper. Would you suggest putting those types of, let's say, exclusions to budget in the response in the prompt? Or would you have a budget of 125,000 and only tell GPT that your budget is 100 because that's the one that you're measuring
that's the one,
time-related things on?
Yeah, that's kind of where your total developer cost or your QA cost and other things, and then rest of it are incidentals and other things could be extra. You can always keep it separately, and you need to add that. You try both. You see what it comes at, because these are all trial and error. You are training, right? Because I'm not sure how much of data, how it has been done and things like that. You should try it. There's no one straightforward answer to give here. You should try both and then see what it comes up with. Sometimes, it will say you're going to talk about 300 hours of worth of, consulting. That could be a combination of everything. So you take
Mhm.
300 and then the 1 million, and 1 million divided by 300 could be so many hours. So if I add 10 more hours of something, then you will add by the unit cost by 10. Yeah, maybe. Sometimes, some of these are not applicable. You don't need a partner for this. You don't need,
Mhm. Mhm.
you don't need a senior consultant. Maybe just some small analyst that you need here, right? So it depends on a case-to-case basis, but it will be very insightful. It will be very insightful. But
Okay, thanks so
costing,
much, Sri.
yeah. But by the way, just to let you know, as the PMI says themselves, they want more people to start using budgeting, business case analysis, because we are not there. There's so much of a thing to do. To be honest with you, I'm very interested to do those things.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Victor. Swapnil. Hey, Swapnil.
Hey, can you hear me? Let
Yes.
me just.
Oh, we can.
Okay.
I see two of you, but we can hear you.
No, because I'm using my phone to talk because I think it looks like there's some issue with my microphone.
Yes,
Can
go
you
ahead,
hear
go
me?
ahead. We can hear you. We can hear you.
Okay. So I'm thinking, Shri, will it be correct to say that we can use the Gen AI to kind of augment the IQ piece, like all the technical stuff, so that the project manager can focus on the EQ, because the EQ is probably a key part of managing a project and a program, right? You're dealing with people, with the conflicts. I mean, that probably saps a lot of energy,
Yeah.
right? And you
Yep.
still have to do the IQ piece, and maybe there you can use the Gen AI to help you.
Totally. It's up to you, because at the end of the day, the three things, right? You use it for assisting you or augmenting, right? Or automation. So you leave the automation to Gen AI. It will help you save time, productivity, and efficiency. You get the assistance for you to just say, hey, can you just give me a template for this? And then you go and fill the template. So that's assisting. Then the augmentation is that's where the brain, you need to, system is not there yet. That's where you need to think about your risk analysis, your case analysis, case considerations, and a lot of things that come into ROI analysis and those kind of things. You are better than the system in this case. So then the other part you said is, which is basically, yeah, you are good in people. You know the emotional stuff. You know how people respond to situations. You know how things are happening, how the scope creep happen. The system is not going to come and tell you what's your change control stuff. You need to know what is your change control board. If a new request come, you convene a change control board, and then you just say, analyze, hey, what do you want? Why you want? What is the risk of doing taking this change into in? That's, you are the best judge. You as a project manager need more time. Most of the time, stakeholder expectations, the communication, the change management, that's what beats this. I'll tell you, Susan, you might like it. We did the Obamacare problem, right? Last time in the Obamacare, here is the relevance here. They were not able to, they were accepting scope. For whatever scope they accepted, the requirements were not clear. They're not accepted. And so the problem here is there is a scope creep, but the requirements kept on coming. Plus, it was not very clear, very late. The design was late. So if you look at this, that's where you can ensure set expectations, clear engagement model, right? On, hey, I need this by this time. Okay. And then I would want it in this format. Okay. And I will have questions and I want you to be available. But you can use Gen AI to say, dude, I called for 10 meetings. This particular business leader, who's supposed to be a core team member, missed the 8 of the times that meeting. So that is assistance or automation, to identify potential risks for the project. But you working with that person to make sure he understands and things like that, that's where you put your skills. People skills, Gen AI cannot replace in this case.
Right. I think that's what I was getting at. That people skills, the Gen AI is not going to replace. So whatever help you can get from Gen AI for data, that all that number crunching, let's use it, because I think what drives the success of a project manager, program manager, is those EQ skills, right?
Exactly.
It's not just the numbers.
Yep. Cool. Use it. I would say The more people use it, guess what? You're training the system. That's good.
I definitely love this. Susan just put in the Zoom chat, I think PMs will be more necessary, but they need to massively upskill, especially in the EQ arena. The best PMs have always known that it's about the people, the teams.
Yeah, the
that
people
is
and the teams. Yeah, I called out in one of the
wisdom.
slides. Yeah. I said it's a team, right? Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Genius. Sorry, Susan, I'm calling you out, but that's just spot on. Swapnil, thank you. Carol, you got your hand up.
I just wanted to say that it's from what I've learned tonight that basically sounds like in terms of AI and the PM's role, it sounds as if the best way to approach all of this is to have a front end with the PM, putting as much into the AI as possible, and then having an interactive, ongoing, working whatever is going on with the team so that there is a way to manage as well as to control, because with all of that needs to be happening with everything, you've got to be on top of it. And yes, people have to be totally involved. So that's where hopefully AI can guide in terms of the interactive with the people. Is that the case?
No, definitely. See, for example, I'll tell you, if I one way to look at it here, right? I did projects like where we developed teams called red team, blue team, and green team, something like that. Just name any color, doesn't matter. Red team is infrastructure. Okay, the blue team is basically about the processes and stuff like. The green team is about training and things like that. So we kind of earmark. So the question here is how you set up the expectations of the team, how you train the team, how you work with the people on the team. Those are the things where the project manager is super good at. Okay, but you use the AI to say when things need to happen, by whom, by what, and tell me proactively and give me a risk assessment to see that is going to miss. Why? It has always been missing. It's always that person delayed. That person never shows up. You are putting an estimation. Awesome. Hey, put 10 hours to develop this. Excuse me. In the last 4 projects, it took 20 hours. How are you just saying, you know what I mean? And because you don't know the skill, that guy is not there. So those things you only know.
But I guess maybe with what you're telling us here, you're talking about individuals, and is AI able to address just what you're talking about with the guy who can't show up, or the person who is the person who is exceptional? Let's go both ways. And that's what I would hope AI would be able to identify and say, let's go this way, let's go that way.
Yeah, because of the data. You have the data, right? Because your Teams message, Microsoft Copilot is integrated to Office 365. It has got everything about everything, right? Who attended? It generates the transcripts of the meeting. It gives you the meeting attendees' participation. And it knows, out of those kind of things, right? That's one of the case that even Copilot said, oh, this is how Microsoft helps via Copilot about getting ahead on proactively. Basically, predictive analytics at the end of the day.
Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. So, Sri, if anybody has any questions, please raise your hands. If not, we'll end it in a minute. So, thinking you've heard me talk to this group about agentic AI and how we're entering this state of technology where, and I'm going to quote Mo Godwat, who said, "The smartest person you can hire is not a human." How do you see the agentic stuff in the future? Do you see this as a threat to product management? Do you see it as so far off it's not an issue? Where do you see that this stuff is going?
No, I think you know what, the smartest person is assisted by automation, and that automation is provided by Gen AI. That's what I would say.
That's today, 100%. Thinking, let's look 1, 2, 5 years. I mean, 5 years is you can't.
Yeah.
1, 2 years. 2 years beyond that, uncertainty just is exponential.
Well, Gartner's report says by 2030, you're going to have 80% of the project managed by Gen AI. It says,
80%.
80%. Yeah, that's
Okay.
the report. If you, I think, I'm trying to relate. Where was that article? By Forrester article or something, or Forbes article I saw. I can put it later. Forbes article, it says about 20, 30, 80% of the project. I mean, okay. But again, I'll tell you, you are still not gotten Gen AI to, based on what they, I'm not an expert. I'm learning every day. So based on what they say is you are not very good with the case analysis. You're not very good with the ROI. You're not very good with the predictive analytics. Only data that you provide, it's going to give you. There is a lot of still unknowns are there. The idea is if you're turning around 70% of failure, it's going to be reduced to 20% of failure. And basically, I would be very happy with the leveraging Gen AI. But I doubt that because of the people aspects are still intact. I doubt.
Oh, okay. Yeah, and yes, that is an assumption, and I think it's a fair assumption for certain organizations, not for others, that the people intact might be disrupted. Yeah.
There'll be disruption for sure, but they can focus on other areas to.
Okay. So of the 80% of product management that's going to be disrupted in the next, 6 years, those 80% people are going to have to find something else to do.
Yeah.
And then it's just going to be the top 20% who are just going to, fill in the human related gaps.
Yep, that's
Okay.
another way to put it. Because, for example, I'll tell you, product and project are different, right?
Very different.
Product is the research that goes like it's what exploit and explore. Thanks to Tushman professor, exploit and explore. You bring that here because you need to know what is there in the market, which I can bring it here. That's your product and roadmap and stuff. Then it gets conceived into a project for execution, and then use the prior project to see how I can successfully take this product from from an installation to an implementation. Awesome.
I always get that confused. Product management versus project management.
Yeah, I know.
It's all the same.
Product is a hardware software. Project is a which helps product to get to the finish line, right? For example, I'll tell you, if a car is being launched, that's a product. It's a product, right? Whereas when you just simply launch the product, then the question is, how are you going to service the parts for that matter, right? Where are you going to procure the parts for that? How the customer is going to order this one, for example. How you're going to finance 0% finance APR, or you're going to do through some. These are all could be called as a program or a project, which is based on the product here. The product only takes care of the features. It is going to come up with like 400 miles per charge, and then it comes with 5-seater or 7-seater for that matter. I'm sorry, I'm using any example that you already know. That is a product feature, is a nice cushion seat, and which has got autopilot enabled, blah, blah. These are all product. They will take the product to the customer and then work on order operations or orderability on the web. Order operations is the order fulfillment part. That and all could be called as a project, which is IT component there, which is a business component there. It's pretty interesting.
Awesome. So Sri, thank you. Let's end this now. Susan.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Sri. And just so good. Great prompts. Great to see that. Really good overview of what we can do with project management too. And just, I think in our own way, all of us on this call are managing some kind of project. So it's pretty cool to see all this. And then I think that we need to bring in the human side of it too, Sri. So I want to show you what we're doing, and let's do a joint presentation together or something like that. That would be fun too. All right. And thank you so much. This is great.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
Susan, I think that's a great idea. I think we need to just put it in the calendar. So before everyone goes, just a little reminder, our very own Jorg Ynat is going to be here next week to talk about his new book called Let's Get Digital, a transformation guide to the future of business and entrepreneurship. And for the folks who stick around, at the end of next week's session, we will be giving out some nice little gifts.
Yeah.
Sri,
Hey,
you're sharing
don't
your-
forget
Oh.
to download this Orality as my podcasting platform. The reason is for a shameless plug. This is just I'm trying to do some kind of research work later on LLMs, because there are lots of ebooks that are there. I wanted to create its own GPT part to look for, hey, look at what they said in the 7th century, in 6th century, because I'm getting about 1,000 PDFs that are trying to be integrated into as ebook here. This is all Tamil scripts, which are in the Palm scripts in the past. We got the crowdsourcing to get it into a paper form. From the paper form, we are trying to digitize through my, narration, not mine, but a lot of people where I've invested. But then the other part, this is Orality available there. And you can also listen to some of the podcasting. Anyway, if you get a chance, please do that. Okay. Thank you for allowing me to share this in 30 seconds. Thank you.
No, Sri, thank you, man. This was a
Yeah.
pleasure. All right, folks, I'm going to stop the recording. Please.
Thanks so
stick
much.
around
Have a
for
good
some
evening.
overtime.